Hey guys, as you can see in the title of the video, we're going to be jumping into things that are ruining the UFC. But we're also going to be talking about potential fixes for these issues as well. So if you like the video, please leave a like, please leave a comment with any feedback you might have as well. So without further delay, let's jump into it. The first topic is terrible judging. We've got the iconic picture of Dominic Reyes getting robbed by Jon Jones, of course. Obviously not Jon Jones's fault that they gave him the belt, but nonetheless, he got the belt when Dominic Reyes obviously won this matchup. He won the first 3 rounds of the fight. Jon Jones won the last 2. Here we've got different examples of some robberies. So in the first one here, in Sandhagen versus Vera, Sandhagen didn't get robbed in terms of the win. He actually won the fight here, but the fight was given a split decision to Sandhagen when Sandhagen ended up winning 4 to 5 out of 5 of the rounds, in my opinion. I was definitely in shock when I saw a split decision, and it really annoyed me that I got so nervous over this fight result, which was solely based on my nerves towards if the judges had eyeballs in this fight, basically. So next one is Pantoja versus Erceg. I'll be honest, on the initial results, I actually gave Erceg 3 rounds in total. I believe the fight was very close. I think Pantoja won the first round very clearly, so you can just say that, give him the first round. Erceg won 2 and 4, decently clearly in my opinion, and then 3 and 5 were the close-ish rounds or closer rounds, and I gave Erceg the 3rd round. Next fight was more your cookie-cutter standard robbery with Liang versus Rodriguez here. Another example is Pimblett versus Gordon. Clear win for Jared Gordon, but obviously it didn't go their way, so I was assuming that it might have been a potential favoritism towards a star. So here are my solutions to the terrible judging. The first one is get rid of any judges that make egregious scoring decisions. So this might sound a bit rough, but at the end of the day, you're working for the top fight organization in the world. I know that the judges are regulated by like the athletic commission that they're working in, but there's gotta be better picks for these judges, or there's got to be times where enough complaints, like enough is enough, and complaints get sent and the judges need to be changed or different, especially for the biggest events. The second would be to clearly define and follow MMA scoring criteria. So people always debate on what is effective striking and what is effective grappling and what is this, what is that. Everything needs to be defined more clearly. When I say clearly define and follow MMA scoring criteria, there is definitions for MMA scoring criteria, but the judges are just not following the criteria. So there needs to be either a more clear definition for the judges, or we just need the judges to follow my last solution, which is we need stricter and harder judge qualification. I'll be honest, like it seems like they're letting anyone judge. We will move on to the next thing that I believe is ruining the UFC, and that is non-active champions and fighters. So we've got the pictures of Jon Jones, McGregor, Colby Covington, fighters that have been out for a year to 2 years, and that is just too long for a fighter to be taking a layoff for, especially if you've not decided on a retirement, let alone if you're a champion of a division. Alright, I'm going to go into why it's bad. It causes the division to slow to a standstill, and it is a bad look for fighters and the UFC. So it ends up following a course where contenders are forced to either stay active or wait on the sidelines for a title shot. This can change the trajectory of some fighters' whole careers. Like I'm watching Corey Sandhagen, a fighter that I believe should have had a title shot at this point in his career, fight different contenders each time, and is now fighting Umar Nurmagomedov in a bout that was just announced. This shouldn't be the case. The division should be moving. It also creates more circumstances where UFC interim belts need to be created. I don't know how you guys feel about interim belts. I believe they personally shouldn't exist at all. I just think the UFC might be better without all these interim belts. And my last point is that some interim champs have had to even defend their belt in the past. It can get pretty ridiculous with non-active champions and fighters. My main solution that I have here, or my only solution, is to have a set in stone mandatory end date for stripping the belt. So for example, if a champion is healthy, they must defend the belt within 6 to 8 months. Because most fighters wouldn't be as kind to their division as Jamal Hill and Yuri Prochazka about vacating their title due to injury. Terrible rules. we have the two rules that I disagree with, which is the 12-6 elbow and kneeing or kicking ahead of a grounded opponent. So why are these terrible rules, guys? So I actually do agree with having 12-6 elbows illegal on the ground. I don't agree with having them illegal in general. I've seen them, especially in Muay Thai, and I just think that they're completely fine, especially if two opponents are standing. And for the other rule in terms of kneeing an opponent or kicking them while they're down, a wrestler shouldn't have an advantage on a striker just because they don't receive repercussion in a compromising position after shooting a takedown, especially. So I definitely believe that rule needs to be changed in some capacity. I believe we got to make 12-6 elbows legal as long as both opponents are standing. If the opponents are grounded, only 12-6 elbows to the body. I believe this would be a fine rule to add, and I'd like it to be added somewhere in the near future. With the knees and kicks to a grounded opponent, make knees and kicks legal to a grounded opponent. The only solution I wrote was to make knees and kicks legal to a grounded opponent, just because I believe other organizations are already doing it successfully in the UFC. I did watch Demetrius Johnson get knocked out by Adrian Moraes over at RUIN FC, and the rule is fine over there. Now, this is one I get really annoyed at, guys, I'll be honest with you. Punishments for cheating and fouling are not severe enough. So there are cage grabs, groin strikes, and especially eye pokes. These things happen all the time in the UFC. It's inevitable, accidental or not. But I believe any illegal move should be handled with more severe punishments. Like, for Christ's sake, I just watched Chris Weidman eye poke a guy. 1-2 combo eye poke to his way to victory not too long ago as well. I think it was against Bruno Silva. I believe these things affect a fight dramatically, especially eye pokes. Eye pokes are just too compromising. The punishments for these need to be severe. I feel strongly about this enough to bring up the BMF title bout that happened between Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje. In that fight, Max Holloway eye poked Justin Gaethje twice. I believe the first time, he can receive a stern warning. Second time, immediate point deduction. There should be no question about it. And this is coming from a Max Holloway fan. I just think it's too compromising. You should not be able to eye poke anyone like that without repercussion, accidental or not. Solutions to this issue. I don't care if it is accidental. Issue a warning the first time depending on severity. From then on, no more warnings. Points will be deducted every time you commit a foul. If you are committing multiple fouls a fight and this applies to you, you are the problem. Just like I said in regards to the BMF title bout, first time, a warning depending on severity. Second time, immediate point deduction. I think if you implement a rule like this, or referees upping the severity of punishments, you'll see a lot less fouls. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave me some feedback in the comments. I'd like to see it. And if you have any suggestions about what you might think ruins the UFC, please leave it in the comment section below as well. And also any suggestions about any video ideas you might have for me, please leave it in the comments below as well. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time.